Hello friends, this is Ganesh and hope things are doing good from your end. And today I'm going to explain a concept called email functionality in ABAP. It's very simple and many times we have received a requirement from the business saying that we need to trigger an email to list of these recipients or receivers saying this is a kind of a error message or success or information. So based on the validation, based on the scenario, I need to send an email to list of these people, list of these that people. Okay, so email functionality is very common, frequently used concept or process in an ABAP. So that's what I'm going to explain this functionality in probably 2 or 3 videos. Maybe first one I'm going to explain about very basic stuff, how to trigger an email from a program based on a scenario. Okay, and we have two options like we can trigger an email through a traditional programming concept, using a traditional programming concept or an object oriented level. So as we are always ahead, or object oriented is used widely to trigger for an email functionality, so I prefer start with object oriented because it's very simple. We are not going to write a program to trigger an email. We are going to use a standard class and methods to understand these are the senders, these are the receiver, this is my body of the message, and this is my subject. Okay, so I'm going to try the system understand this is the structure of my email. Okay, so for to understand this, we have a standard class and methods. We don't want to create it from the scratch. So our intention is try to understand the class and the methods and the parameters what needs to be passed. Okay, so obviously if it is object oriented, you have a class and it needs an object, it needs an object reference. These are very basic steps about the object oriented. So after that, we need to understand which method is recognizing these are the senders, these are the receivers, and which method is accepting the messages, body of the content and subject of the emails. So only these things we need to try to understand, and we are going to use the same in our program. Okay, so it's very simple process, and we have probably 3 or 4 standard classes and few methods to do this, and we have an exception class also. Okay, so nothing we are going to create anything from our end. We are going to make use of the standard object. So it's like class and objects. Clear? And in this okay, let me get into the slide. So this session, I'm going to explain a very basic about the email functionality. So basic is nothing but what is required, a minimum data to trigger an email. Need a sender, we need a receiver, we need what type of email. Probably it's required because we are triggering an email from like outside of the email process. So probably the type is one of the mandatory part, and subject and body of the message. Okay, these are very minimal is required to trigger an email. And along with that, if you want to add any additional functionalities like CC, BCC, attachments, and I want to send a formatted content of my message, like saying that I need a tabular column, so table, okay, not tabular, table. So I want to send a table along with my in my body of the content. So these are additional steps we have to see. So first I'm going to explain only this part. Okay, with the basic informations, I'm going to trigger an email from my program, and I'm going to see how it's getting triggered. Okay, and transaction, which transaction I have to see the output of my email. So everything is inside SAP. Clear? And maybe the next following videos, I'll try to add the additional properties of the email functionality. Okay, I divided this entire video into 2 different parts. One is how to gather the information. So gather the information is very simple. You can go with the hard-coded one for your testing purpose, like sender. You can give a sender name or email address of a sender. Receiver could be more than one. Again, in the hard-coded one, or as per the requirement, you can have a dynamic receivers. Normally, receiver should be dynamic because it depends on the users availability, or if suppose they change to a department or move out of the company, we need to add or delete the email address frequently. So receiver is always a dynamic one, and dynamic one could be from a TVRVC variable, you can get it, or from the table you can get it, from the file you can get it, different source, depends on your need, you can do what. Subject could be a hard coded or a dynamic, always the body is going to be it's a partial dynamic, because some hard coded statements and some runtime values also to be added, like purchase order number, sales order number, those things. Okay, so the next one is technical details to trigger an email. So these are the classes, interface, and an exception class is required, at least for a basic trigger, basic email trigger. Okay, so these two are classes, exception, and two interfaces. Okay, so CL all standard ones, and we'll see the usage maybe in the next slide. Okay, so it's very minimal objects is required to trigger an email. Excuse me. Now, little more technical. So sender is going to be referred data element called AD and subject is SOOBJ, and this is going to also a data element. Receiver and body of a message or table type, because it's going to be internal table, more than one data is going to be received. So this is a table type and this is another table type. Okay, and before go to the next technical details about the classes and objects, make sure you have the data available. So these are to be filled, probably hard coded or dynamic, depends on your requirement. Make sure these data mediums are filled with the data. So these are maybe I can say variable, and these two are body of an internal table that needs to be filled with data. So technical wise, so first step, I can say you have to create a document along with your body of a message and type and then subject. Okay, so these are the things we have to pass the informations to a method parameter. So we need to identify the class and method and the parameters which we have to pass the information. So don't worry how it works. So these are already ready, and that will take care of the functionality of an email. Means design an email or trigger an email, that will take care from the standard information. So only you have to pass the exact data from your end to trigger an email. Okay, so the step one, you have to create a document for the using this class, and these are the parameters I have to pass, and this is the method, and here it's an object reference. I believe I must, this is the method. Okay, it's a class and methods, probably here I can use double arrow, I have to use it, and is going to be carry as is going to be filled as an object reference. Output of this is going to be as a filled as object reference along with your informations. And second, I have to make sure the next one is sender. I have to make sure this is my sender. I have to pass the informations to the system saying that these are the sender, or this is my sender. Okay, it depends on the requirement. And here maybe one step additional thing compared to classes is this is an interface. So if it is an interface, I have to get an object reference using a class and method. So here the classes create internet address and the sender information. So again, sender could be name or email address. So then it's going to be create an object reference. Okay, so this is object document and this is object sender, and then few more steps to register. I can say to, it's for your reference, I'm saying you have to say this is my sender, you have to register it. So for that, I'm going to create another object reference variable. The previous object reference is object sender. This is object sender request is equal to, is going to get a reference from this method called create persistent. Once you received it, then you have to register your sender as set sender, exporting your sender information. Your sender informations are already available in a previous object reference. Okay, and then finally you have to say set document for this particular. After setting a sender, you have to set the document along with your object reference. The first object reference is nothing but object underscore doce. You have to use with the help of this method set document. So we are done with the sender. So email content is already passed, type is passed, subject is done, sender is ready, and finally we have to say a receiver. So for receiver, have another interface. So if resistant BCS, so that also needs to be create an object reference along with the receiver information. So receiver, you have to use create internet address, whatever create internet address and whatever the receiver information. Receiver is mostly a email address, and then using the same object sender request. So this is the object reference throughout the program. We are going to use it for setting a sender and adding a recipient, and finally trigger an email. Also we are going to use the same object reference, object sender request only. Okay, so add recipient, and along with we are going to pass this object reference to the I underscore recipient parameter. Suppose if you have more than one receiver, keep these two lines inside the loop. Okay, anyway it's going to be internal table, keep it inside and pass each address to this object reference and add a recipient with the help of the same object reference. And finally I have to trigger an email. I'm going to use the same object sender request object reference over here, and for the method is send. So exporting parameter I with error screen is a mandatory parameter. You have to pass a value. By default it's empty, so whether if you want to pop up a screen if it is error or no. So I'm saying X, yes, if there is error, any errors just pop up a message, and receiving result is nothing but it send and flag informations whether the email is sent to all the recipients if it is more than one. Okay, so that is going to be received in this local variable. So now everything is ready, like sender, receiver, subject, content, and we send an email also programmatically. And finally, if anything is captured, if anything happens in this entire program law, entire programming code to trigger an email, that is going to be captured in this class cx underscore bcs. Okay, so you have to keep this in a try and end try. It means catch, try and catch block. Okay, so let's see in the little detail in the system also. So anything else? Yep. So SOST is a transaction where you can see once the email is triggered. It's not, you don't want to go, suppose if it is a external address, your company address, instead of checking your company address, in SAP itself you have a transaction to see whether the email is triggered or not. So the transaction is SOST. Mostly there is a background job which push your email from your SAP to external world. It could be any of your valid email address. Okay, in development systems mostly the background job is not running, because unnecessarily the email is, if you are using a valid customer email address, so every testing they will get an email. So in development system, no, it will create an email and it comes to SOST level, it won't trigger it. Okay, but manually if you want to trigger, yes, it depends, it will allow, depends on the your basic email settings. Okay, but in quality in production mostly the email is reach the external people. So SOST is the place for a developer to test the format and the receiver, how the attachment is, and everything you can check, you can test in SOST transaction only. Okay, clear? Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's get into the system. Okay, so let's gather the information first. So I need a subject. Check type would be minute. Okay, so these are the things, right? Control C. Okay, this is a subject. So here I'm doing hard coded. You can add whatever is required over here. So email subject. Okay, and then another variable I need a sender. Sender, again, if you want, you can have a name, or you can say some email address. So I can say no reply at abc.com. Okay, and then I need two body of an internal table. One is email body. So it's going to be this is here. Okay, this is the body table type, and receivers. Am I correct? No. Yeah. Receivers type, this one. Okay, so two internal table is ready. Okay, so this is going to be filled actually. Again, I'm saying you can go with hard coded, or you can go with dynamic values or loop. It's very simple, so I don't want to spend much time on that. So I want to show you, I want to understand, okay, and understand what is the type and structure behind this. So let me go inside that, and it has a structure SYLI, and it has only one component called line. So I'm going to use the same. So line is equal to body of the content. So line 1, okay, I can say configuration fails, notification, and this is like new way of syntax, or you can simply write an work area and then append to body of internal table. So don't worry about this. Okay, so however you want, you make it. Configuration fail notification, please check, please reach on call people, something like that. Okay, and same way I need to fill my receivers. So receivers probably is a dynamic value, so you have to get it from any of your source. So receiver, let's see, this is data elements. Okay, this is, if you write double K, it's a data element, it's not a structure, so it doesn't have any field value. So I can say it's going to be Ganesh at xyz.com. Okay, this is one record and another record. So multiple receivers, I feel. Okay. SAP at xyz.com. Okay. Okay, so almost we are done. We have a subject, we have a sender, we have an email body, and we have a receiver. Everything is good? Yes, so syntactically correct. So next step, technically we have to register or send this information to a proper class and methods. So for that, I need some declaration. Data object, object for document type ref2. So I want these things. Control C. Sorry. Okay, so type ref2 CL document BCS, and object sender type ref2 if sender BCS, and this is the main object reference which send the request or trigger an email, I can say. So type ref2 CL BCS, and object for receivers type ref2 interface. Okay, nothing much. So the last, this one we'll use it last. Okay, so almost we are done. So now we need to write a code which trigger an email along with all the contents. What is the sender, receiver, email body, and then subject. Okay, very basic thing. Let me go with try catch. So first thing, as per the slide, will go, and this is the one. So on this class, I'm going to call the method create document. Okay, so see create document. Let me copy the CL document BCS. Go here, Control F6, ABAP objects pattern. So here, this is a class, and the method is create document, right? So therefore, you can simply type, or you can see over here. Okay, create document, enter. So this will has a lot of informations, because now we are seeing only the very basic stuffs. Okay, so if you want to add anything else, yes, you can able to add it, but now I'm not going to do that. So here type is going to htm, and subject I have a variable subject, and is a receiving parameter. So if it is a receiving parameter, then it's quite simple. So I can receive from here. So object document, it's both are same. Okay, so if you're not familiar writing the code like this, you can say receiving document also. Okay, and the parenthesis is a little important. Okay, so this is done. So I have passed my subject, and I think I missed my message content. Yes, 1 minute. That's a text. Okay, I underscore text equal to it. What is the name? Email body. Okay, so that is a text. Done. So next I have to do this for sender. Sender. So for the sender, the object is object underscore sender, and this is going to be have in a class called clcom address bcs, and the method is create internet address along with the sender. So that gives as a receiving parameter as an object reference. So control F6 object. So this is going to be clcam, and add is this one, address bcs, and the method is create internet address. So here it is. Okay, so the input parameter is the sender information we have to pass. Okay, so this is only one, like in address string we have to pass. So here I can say lb the sender. Okay, I don't want address and everything. So this is a receiving result. So again, receiving result is going to be captured here. Sender equals I don't know where I passed. Okay, so here the sender, I have to send the information for the sender, and receiving I can use this way to get the information because it has only one receiving parameter. So close it and export, not here, I believe here, and center dot. Okay, so we are good. And the next one is going to be the major object reference, so that I think sorry, and try. Okay, it's there already. Okay, so next is going to be the all the request is going to be triggered. So for that, the object reference is object sender request. Okay, so for that, first I need to get the reference first, object send request, with the help of the class clbcs, and the method is create assistant. So here I'm getting the reference, and I'm going to add the sender information here. So object sender request, and is going to be, there is a method called set. Okay, I can do one thing, sender request and clbcs. Okay, sender request. Okay, so control F6. So object pattern, and here most of the methods which we are going to use from the PCS class, and here I need a method called sender, set sender. So set sender. Okay, so set sender and sender information is available in the object reference object sender. try. Okay. So here this reference is going to be your request reference, the object reference set sender, and pass the information for the sender. And final one is going to be I'm going to add a set document also. The same way set sender is done, and I need to do a set document. Set document is nothing but this one: email, subject, and type of your email and everything. Okay, Control F6 and same class. And here I'm going to use a method called set document. Where is that one? Here, set document to be sent. Which document to be sent? So here document is again is going to be a object reference object doc. So object doc is here, this one. Okay, it contains the basic informations like email, body, type, and subject. And here also we have to use the same object reference sender request. Okay, so almost we are done. We use set sender and we use set document. So now receiver informations. So receiver information is going to be inside the loop because we have more than one receiver into data WA receivers. Okay, so first I need an object reference for the receiver. So for that, so first I need to create a reference. Again, go to Control F6, message object pattern, and the classes CL cam, and then address, which I used previously. Oh, sorry, CL cam address BCS, and the same method create internet address. Now the parameter is receiver. So address string is receiver, WA receiver. So this is data element, so I don't want have a field over here. Okay, and this is a receiving parameter. This one I'm going to use object receivers. Okay, so open parenthesis and close it. So no call method. Okay, so now the receiver is also almost ready, and finally I need to register like set document, set sender. Same way I have to use a receiver, but receiver is a different method called add recipient. Okay, so add recipient, again Control F6. So the same class CL BCS, and the method is add recipient, the first one. And here I'm going to send, you're going to pass the reference object receiver's reference. So these are the informations, it's the additional one. And I prefer to go with express here. We want to send immediately, so I'm going to send yes, go with X. Okay, okay. So here the object references object sender request. So almost we are done. We set the sender, set the document, and set the recipient. So finally I need to push this email with the help of a method called send. Okay, so for same class CLBCS, and there is a method called send. Okay, so here exporting is by default, it's a space. Oh, it's not a mandatory, I'm sorry for that, it's an optional one. So I'm going to give X, and if you want to see any results, maybe you can see DV send. Okay, so object sender request. So we are done, and if there is anything to be cached, so then I have to add the class cx underscore bcs. Okay, so for that I need object reference catch cx bcs into data object exceptions. Leave. Let's see whether it's correct or not. Let's receive us. Oh, okay, that's done. Okay, so almost done. I'm just pushing the informations along with my receiver, sender, recipient, email body, and subject. Let's see how it's trigger an email from this program. So before execute, one more thing to be added. So commit work that actually push an email from your program. Trigger, it's push to trigger an email from your program. Execute, I don't have any output statement, so I won't get any output screen. So let's go to SOST transaction /o SOST. So here you can see the email whether it gets triggered or not. Yeah, it's done for twice because I have two recipients. One is for the SAP and one is for Ganesh. So if you just click and it's saying it's waiting because it's a test system. So normally they won't have that bad job to just trigger or push the informations outside of your system. So, and if you click this button, you're able to see the content of your email. So please reach out on call people. So these are not formatted. So these are maybe next we can see how formatted and everything. So this is the content, and you can see the sender, who's the sender, send status, sender information. So not here once. Oh, sorry. Display. Okay, so here you can see the attributes and what are the informations you have sent, and so there's a title of your email. So recipient, who are the recipients over here? So no CC, BCC are over here, just a two. Everything is added in the two. And who's the sender? So sender is no replies and external address, and the express send attributes I mentioned as X. So these are the very basic informations, and it's getting triggered. So the output is yes, the email is getting triggered, and you can select here, you can manually push the informations. I can say yes. Okay, it's email, it's saying cannot be sent because probably some other reason. So just click refresh. So here internal error. Okay, so maybe the reason could be email things are not configured properly over here, and we have some messages. Cannot process message in SAP system. Okay, could be some reason, maybe it's not configured properly over here. Configuration error in SAP system. Okay, it's fine. So SMTV's plugin is not available, so whatever is, it's fine, but this is not going to happen in real time because we properly, at least development, we have the configuration, but it's not running in the interval period of time. So manually if you push, sometimes yes, from development system it will push an email outside of your SAP, or quality system definitely it'll go to your external email address. Okay, so this is very basic about how to trigger an email from a program, and here I didn't use any business scenarios. Just you make use of any business scenario, but this is a process to gather the information, a very basic information, sender, receiver, and what is the body of your email, and then subject of your email, then type of your email, and the steps which produce, which gathered or which design the email to trigger along with the sender, receiver, body of the content, and finally there is a method which triggers an email from your report. Okay, so hope this might be useful for you. Just go through it. If you have any doubt, please let me know, and thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video. Bye.